I built this template completely with ChatGPT Sol. So everything you see here is done in one chat. So all the interactions we see here, the images, the consistency of the images, everything was done with ChatGPT 5.6. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. So let's get right into it. Okay, so here's the plan. I'll show you the new model that everyone's talking about, and then we'll walk through the whole build, the way it really happens. So all the creative directions, the image system, the scroll engineering, and everything that we need to polish, everything like that. So everything I show here will be in a prompt file that will be in the description so that you can rebuild this without any guess. So first, the model. So OpenAI shipped the latest model, which is the 5.6. And in this, we have multiple models. And the one that I use for this is Sol, so their most capable model. So there's two things that really matters for us when we create design. First is the model that we choose. So as I said, I'm using Sol, which is the strongest one. And also it's very good at front-end work. So, you described your website, your template, your idea, and it's going to build everything, the layout, the styles, all the behavior. And the second thing that is really important and really great with ChatGPT is that they have their built-in image generation. So you don't have to switch any tool. You use the same tool. And by doing that, the same model that is using to code your template is going to be the same model that is going to create your image. So, well, natively, right? So this is really important. And also it gives you all control and you can make sure that the subject is consistent. So in this case, we have the clauses here and the model. So with that combination, you really have control over everything, consistent images, and you build your template at the same place with the same prompt, with the same logic, and everything works together perfectly. So with any template that you build, you always start with inspiration. And I like awards a lot because those websites, those projects are real website, real product, and people have been working on it, and it's been tested and proven. So you just have to go and find your inspiration. So you can go to any websites, any references. Dribbble is another great website to have some inspiration. Make sure to just like not copy the actual template itself, but just the principle behind it and change it enough so that it doesn't look like the original design. And also Aura has really great templates. Those like this one, the one that I created, and those are done with all my coworkers. So all of this is very unique and different and original. So you don't really kind of see these kind of templates anywhere else. It's not, it's been worked on. It's not generic, and there's real people working behind it. So for this template, so the style that I chose is it's called neo-futuristic. So if you like manga or anime, this is the style that I chose for this one, and I really like it. So you can have inspiration not just from you know uh, websites. You can also have inspiration from whatever that you like. And coming back to award, you can choose any website really, and then check for the animations, the layouts. So you really have to just copy the principle. So, oh, I like this animation. And on this page, I like this section. I like the layout. I like the entrance animation. That's what you are going to kind of use as inspiration. But make sure to iterate it enough so that it doesn't look like the original, like just a plain copy, right? And for this template, everything here is completely original. So everything here is it's not a copy from anywhere. Just the kind of the animation, the interactions, maybe the effects, because a lot of website use the same effects and an entrance animation. So that's like kind of normal. So for the first prompt, we are going to ask it to build a template, a landing page template, and we are going to ask it to get the inspiration from awards, so award level websites. And what's important here is that we get inspiration from multiple sites and we kind of stitch it together to create one original style. So we don't want any copy of any website. We want only the similar animations, effects, interactions only. So the principles, as I said before. So the page is focused on scroll-driven animation because that makes the experience so much more, amazing. And then we want the model to create its own assets for the template. because ChatGPT has its own image generation. So we're going to pick a genuinely popular topic, because this was a test or demonstration of the new GPT model. So that's what I asked it for. And you can also ask before it writes any code to give you the topic, the visual style and the section plan, how everything is going to end up looking. So you can kind of like have some kind of interview with your model and really have everything prepped out, everything ready, planned out, instead of just having it spit out a template and that you would not like. So you can approve all this, beforehand, so you're not going to waste any tokens. So after the prompt, if you didn't choose like the approval part first, then you will have like the template built and with all of this, so you can just with any AI, you can just iterate, change the style, change the image, change the typography, the layout, everything that you think that would need some more work, some more polish. But if you chose to work with the images first, then ChatGPT is going to create the images, and you can then just approve. So we have the images here that have been created with ChatGPT, their own image generation. So we have the first one here, which is this is really great. So we have a different background here, standing subject here, and then the second one here, walking with a square and kind of like a stripe in the background. So we have different background style, if you will. This one has kind of like the graffiti as well as a different pose. So this is like kind of crouch, and this one has a different one. It's another circle, but it's sharper. So each of these images are different, but I want you to notice that every one of them have the same outfit and the same model, the consistency. So that is very important. And this is what I call like the invariable. So if we come back here, this is, the invariants, right? So this is something that you would ask AI if you want to have everything consistent. But since ChatGPT is creating the code, the landing page, as well as the images, then it's so much easier for it to create and keep it consistent with you just asking it to be for the subject, everything to be consistent. But if you want to be more specific, you can give it a prompt, something like this. So we want the same model, same face in every images. So we want a woman with white braided hair and all the rest, transit shell. We have this tech. We have this technical jacket with the red armor piece on the left shoulder and electric blue cord, and it goes on like that. So the pouch, the black gloves, and the boots as well. So we can look here, everything is the same. So we have the same shoe, the same boots, the same apparel, the same subject. And this is really important. And this is really also fantastic by working with one model that has all of, the image generation as well as the template, the code generation. So this makes it so much easier. And since, AI has context and has history, context of the history, so your previous prompt, then it's really easy to just ask it to create images that are really consistent for your website. So that's really a great feature with ChatGPT. So now let's look at this in practice. So when you create images for the website, the template, you want to create multiple images, create as much as possible so you can then choose the best ones. So these are all the different poses, the different images. So the pose here, we have the crouching hero pose. You have the standing, you have the apparel, you have the walking motion study. So everything here is available in the same prompt that I'm sharing with this. So you can have a look at this, and then you can recreate the kind of images that are shown here. So if we look at here, the website here for the hero section, this is the one that I chose. And I also have like different here. This one, the standing, and then this one that it's a bit a different pose. And the reason why I chose this one is because it's filling the most right part of the website. So it feels more complete as, in compared to this one, there's a lot of empty spaces here in the middle. So this one is really great. And it also shows like this kind of a streetwear attitude, This is something that I really like. And you can also like you make this even bigger. So if you frame it like this, maybe somewhere here, and then make it take all the right space here, then that will give another kind of visual, interesting visual to this website. So make sure you test multiple images, test multiple layouts, so you can really have multiple options and really have the choice and really choose the best one that will fit this kind of template, the template that you're building. So now let's have a look at the image, the website, so how the images are used. So we can move the mouse here, and we can see that the image is moving independently with the background and the elements here. So we have this kind of parallax effect. So if you look here, this is a hint. Behind it, we can see the transparency. You can see the background. So if you haven't guessed it yet, it's all about creating, transparent images. So let's have a look how we are going to do this, how it's done. So this is an example. We have this image here. So what we are going to do is to ask it to have a kind of like a flat matte image in the background, something that has a high contrast. So here, like a green screen. So the same way that you would work in Premiere Pro or After Effects, this is the same way that you are going to do it. So by doing this, you get sharp edges, and that's what we want. And also, what's important is that make sure that the color, the here in the background doesn't, the image itself doesn't have the same colors. Otherwise, you will have some transparency in the subject. So, for example, if this has a green outfit, then you would not use green. You would use something else that is not in the image. For example, purple or something like that. But it has to be of high contrast, so the AI can easily remove it afterwards. And by doing this, we're using ChatGPT Codex, and it's the same now. It's the same app as a Codex, but this by using this, we were able to create like this kind of shadow here. Okay, that if you want to later modify, this is CSS, so you can later modify this if you want, and without touching any image. So this is very useful. So if you want to see how this is done, then we have it here. So the cutout requirement. So you place an object. The prompt here is to place one perfectly flat, even mid-green background. So as I said, it's nowhere in the garment or in the subject itself. So we don't want anything else. No floor, no shadows, no gradient, everything. So all the background will be filled with that color. And then we ask it to remove the green affect the background here so that it stays clean and sharp. And that's what's going to give us this super nice and sharp transparent PNG. And another thing to notice here is here I'm asking it to confirm the four corners are fully transparent, because if you have a subject that is in full display here, then by asking it to have the four corners truly transparent, then you are sure that the full subject here, the background, is isolated, so as a whole image. And that is very useful if you are doing this kind of image. So by using this transparent image technique, we are able to create this effect here, this parallax effect. So everything is in layer. You have the main subject here, and then you have the elements and the background. So then with the scroll, the hover, it reacts to your mouse. And also we can do stuff like entrance animation. So if we refresh the page, then we can see all the elements coming in from different directions with different animations. And this creates a really, wow effect for your hero section. So we can see that again in display here. So this is really great. So the full website is built on this technique, on this principle. And we also have this scrubbing here. So when you scrub, we can move all elements independently and create really great interactions. So we have the scrub progress here, as well as the full website scroll bar here. So once this is completed for the hero section, then it moves to the next section. And the one on top here is for the full website, so the full landing page. So again, once you have all these layers independent, then you can really create all kinds of interactions and animations, effects that you want with your landing page. Now let's have a look at the next section, which is my favorite here. So this is a horizontal scroll section. So each card here has a full viewport. So this is a viewport here, and this is another viewport here as well. So make sure that to also have into account the height of your header. And we have 4 cards in total here. And you can see here we have the scroll indicator here at the bottom, so we can, as we scroll, and as well as the card numbers. So this is it's having this parallax, the pointer parallax effect. So it's the same principle as we did in the hero section. So when we move this, different elements moves at different pace, different speed. So this creates this parallax and depth effect. So right here you can see it as well. And you can fine tune this the way like you really like as effect for your website. So notice that when I'm in the actual card, we have the parallax with the cursor effects, and when I leave the section, the card, then the image is going to snap back into its position. And this makes sure that there's no jump in our animation, because if you don't think about it, you don't take care of it, once the cursor leaves the card, it's going to stay there. And when you come back, the animation is going to jump. You're going to see like a cutting animation, which is really not great. So we always want to have, a smooth animation. So like here as well, every time you move out, it's going to snap back and move into the original position, so that, every time we move or we scroll, then everything is smooth. And also you have the movement here with your scrolling here as well. So you see the elements moving as you scroll at a different speed. So this is really great. It's a nice visual animation, but make sure that for the users that want reduced motion, that it's all fixed. So instead of having this motion, like some people might have some motion, sickness. So you just make sure that to take them into account. And so all of this should be all fixed instead of having all these motions. So the next section is more of your commerce section. So we have this, the product here. So, no models in it, just the product itself. And on the left, we have this kind of the buying catalog. So we don't want any animation here, any interactions, because we want the focus to be on the product itself. We don't want this to be a distraction. And from now on, the rest of the sections are pretty standard. You don't want, too many crazy animations all over the website, because that would be too much. So in this section, I wanted to have a nice background image here. And this fits well with the dark theme. And as well as this, the 5 cards here with this little interaction with our color that I really like. So this is a section where you can have an image as a background. And then below we have this index here, where when you hover, you see different images changing here and following your cursor. So all of these images were the ones, some that we made before, some that we saw before in ChatGPT. So they're here. And this gives small interactions. It completes this section with the big text, the big typography here. And finally, we have the CTA section here. Again, we have this image in the background. It's split into two sections. So image on the right, and then blends into the dark background here. And we have this huge CTA button, and a bit of a animation here to kind of put the focus on this CTA button, which is the point of this section. So this is something that is going to attract the eye. Then below we have this footer that is following our style and the layout of the whole website. So that's it for this one. This is how I made this template here. So if you guys want to see more of this video, make sure to follow, and I will see you in the next one.